Hello and welcome to lesson 9, where we'll be solving linear proportions. Our shooting targets for today will be able to solve a variable using the properties of math, your distributive, commutative, associative, and property of equality. You'll also be able to create an equation for real-life situations because we can see these in the wild. Your vocab for today will be proportions, two equal fractions, and cross-multiplying. You've seen this before. It's when you multiply diagonally to set up an equation. All right, now into the examples. Some of these can be solved by reasoning, by just looking at it and trying to think about what it is that was done to one fraction that would have to be the same thing done to the other. So we have x over 4 equaling 6 over 8. And when I think about this, I'm thinking that 4 was multiplied by 2 to make the 8. So then the 6 was multiplied by 2, or sorry, something was multiplied by 2 to make the 6. Well, that something would have to be 3. So the x value is equal to 3. Now, that's not always going to be the way we can solve these. There are going to be times we're not going to be able to think of it like that, and we will cross multiply. We make this cool little nuclear symbol, and it would give us 8 times x, because we multiply 8 and x, and 4 times 6. And I'm going to use parentheses, and you'll see why in a little bit. So 8 times x is 8x. 4 times 6 is 24. Undo this, and you end up with x equaling 3. Anybody can reason their way to figuring out what x may be. Rachel. Okay, so we have an idea that x might be equal to 6 if we were to multiply both top and bottom by the same number, and you would have to do that. So multiplying it by the same number or cross multiplying and see, let's see what happens. 7 times x equaling 2 times 21. Boom. And we would multiply these together. 7x 42. Divide by 7, and the last time I checked, 42 divided by 7 was in fact 6. So nice job. All right. How many people were able to figure this out without doing cross multiplication? Who was able to think of this? What you would multiply 4 by to get 6, Diego? Yes, you can. What is it? You said it greatly. It's 1.5, right? So 6 is like 1 whole 4, and then half of a 4. 4 plus 2 makes 6. So you could multiply this by 1.5, and the same down here, and you would have gotten your answer. But I'm going to leave you in suspense because I'm going to cross multiply. So cross multiplication will make this an equation, and we've been doing a lot of this, and hopefully by now your equation skills are nice and sharpened and polished, no longer that rusty. So 4x is equal to 30. Undo multiplication with division. And I know you like to get your cell phones out. Use them for math. You got a calculator on that thing. All right? And 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. And you've got... Sometimes we can't use reasoning. All right? Sometimes cross multiplication might be the only way to get it done. So here we have 3x over 8 equaling 3 over 2. And we're going to have to use our skills to do this. So here we go with cross multiplying. Make that cool little nuclear symbol. And then that's going to give us 3x. I'm going to use parentheses for multiplying times 2 and 3 times 8. How many people are 3x times 2 is in fact 6x, and 3 times 8 makes 24. So once you get the 6x equal 24, divide by 6 on both sides, and x will be equal to 4. Do one with me, or we do one, so let's give this a try. Letter B, x plus 2 over 6 equaling x over 8. Ooh, x's in both fractions. So let's go ahead and cross multiply. And I'm going to put an equal sign down. I'd like you to tell me what's on either side of that equal sign. What's right, you? I like how you said that. And that's why parentheses are important. I've got to put the whole thing, x plus 2, in parentheses. And what's on the other side? Now, is it okay if some people put 6x on the left and then 8 times x plus 2 on the right? Yes, it doesn't matter what side of the equal sign, as long as this is on one side and that together is on the other. So then what property of math are we going to have to use to get rid of those parentheses, Diego? Oh, look at how fancy you guys sound. Distributive property. 8x plus, careful, 8 times 2, 16 equals 6x. And we're going pretty well. How do we undo this? How do we get x by itself? Lizzie. When it's on other sides of the equal sign, I'm actually going to use a different property. I'm going to be fair to everybody in the classroom. Everyone had an equal opportunity to earn candy today. What would that be called? Yeah, property of equality, right? Good. So I'm going to subtract 8x, because if I subtract 6x, I'm left with nothing. So I want to pull these variables together. Leaves the 16 here. Positive 6 minus 8. Be careful with your integer rules. You're going to take away and be left with negative 2 because you owe more than you have. Divide by negative 2 and voila, negative 8 is equal to x. You have found the value of x. And throw reasoning out the door when you've got variables on both sides, and we're going to have to use some cross multiplication skills. I asked the audience that's with me today, what property would this end up looking like when I have this rewritten? It's going to involve parentheses. Yeah, because we're going to have 3 times x plus 2. Make sure that goes in parentheses. 2 times x minus 4. And make sure your cross multiplication doesn't take away from anything that's there, okay? So distribute here. 3x plus 6. Distribute here and get 2x minus 8. All right, we got variables on both sides. We got constants on both sides. Where shall we start? Angel? Okay, if it's already positive, should I add it? Always look to the sign in front. Yep, and whatever I do on one side, I gotta do on the other. And Angel, you've set yourself up very nicely because moving the 2 is now gonna leave you with 1x. And do we even need the 1? It's positive, so we can say goodbye. Last step. Tim? Let's subtract 6. Let's do it to both sides using the property of equality. And you got negative 8. I owe somebody $8. I owe somebody $6. They're going to come and beat me up if I don't pay them back because I owe them $14. I think I got a chance. All right. I do work out in the morning. All right. So I'm going to cross multiply to get things started here. Again, don't take away from the problem. Make sure you can see everything. Does not matter what goes on the left or what goes on the right. So I'm going to put the 2x times 3 on the left, and 3 times 6 minus x goes in parentheses. I would highly recommend writing the single digit, this term, in front so that you can distribute, make it look like that. So we got 2x times 3, 6x, and then 3 times 6, 18. 3 times negative x. Yes, it is, in fact, negative 3x. What do we do next? Limited options here, honestly. Limited options. I like it. Yep. So that's going to give you the ability to cancel this out, zero that out. 9x equals 18. Don't be afraid of fractions. Don't be afraid of decimals. That makes sense. I mean, if you get something that never ends, never repeats, yeah, question yourself. But if you get a half or 3/4 or something, check your work. Don't worry about checking your work. It should be good. 18 divided by 9 is nice. It's just plain old 2. Okay? There you go, folks. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. Have any questions, feel free to inbox me, and we'll see you on the flip side. Hopefully you did.